G'day everyone, welcome. I hope you're having a wonderful day. This video, I'm going to be talking about the story behind the lowest pick rate killers in all of DBD. Now, the data for these killers isn't from any official DBD source, but it's being taken from Nightlight, so take that as you will. First up, we have the twins. They're currently sitting at the lowest pick rate over the past month, which is what this is going over, and it's at a 0.6% pick rate. This probably doesn't really come as a surprise to anybody in particular, but there are a couple primary reasons why they aren't very played, and to be honest, I quite understand it. One of the main reasons, and if not the biggest reason that the twins aren't very well picked or well liked, is because there's a lot of bugs and a lot of clunky mechanics that come with the character because of the way that the killer's mechanics work. Even from launch, there's been so many different problems, and a lot of them still haven't been fixed. Some of the main twin bugs that keep happening are problems with Victor, with collision failures in the environment, not getting registered hits or latches, Victor literally being indestructible or stuck on a survivor, and times where Victor will just instantly die if someone goes downstairs. Another huge thing that puts people off playing the twins is the fact that the gameplay loop is really boring, but at the same time mentally intensive. So the main and really the only way to properly play them is to embrace slugging. And as I'm sure all of you know, it's not exactly smiled upon in the community. Another big factor for a lot of people, and me included, is just it's just the design. I mean, look at it. It's so yucky. It's grotesque, and even some characters, like I will always say, the Unknown has one of the best designs I've ever seen in any game, especially for horror. It's just so disgusting on the twins that it puts me off so much, whereas the Unknown's design, it's so well done. The next lowest pick rate killer in the whole game is one that I don't understand, will never understand, because I find her incredibly fun. It's Skull Merchant, and she is sitting at a 0.67 haha funny pick rate, which is insane. Now, funnily enough, with Skull Merchant, a lot of the reason her pick rate is so low is because of reputational damage from when she was released, where she had this huge 3-gen meta, which she still plays as a 3-gen lockdown character, but on release, it was so insane that it could just hostage and drag out games, and people hated her for it. And that sort of stigma has stayed around for so long, even after multiple reworks which Behavior have given her. People still hate her, and people do not want to play her. A lot of people also tend to find her gameplay loop a bit boring and a bit repetitive and a bit not engaging, especially after the reworks turned her into much more passive and unable to really effectively put a lot of pressure. And so a lot of people just don't want to play that sort of thing when they could play a different type of character that does a very similar thing, but just better and more engaging. I personally find it pretty fun with the drones. It's quite a unique little gimmick that I think she has, but, you know, that's just me. I think a big amount of the lack of playing that Skull Merchant gets in the current meta just comes down to the reputational damage that she got. It was so bad. It was so bad. People just don't want to play her anymore. I think if a lot more people gave her a chance, like I did, they would find her really fun, because she is just kind of really fun. Another not really surprising one for a lot of people is the Hag, and she's sitting at a 0.76 pick rate. I sounded American there. Ugh, I'm Aussie, please. Anyway, 0.76% pick rate. With the Hag, it's kind of it's really just, it's not anything. It's just the fact that she's not fun. She doesn't have good mobility. The playstyle is really boring. The traps can be wiped, so they can just be rendered completely useless if the survivors know what they're doing. And she has a lot of downtime, because at the start of the game she has to walk around putting her traps, which is why a lot of people who play her do use corrupt intervention to make sure that it's easier to get the traps down, so there's less early game gen pressure. But it's just down to the fact that people don't find her fun. And I've played her. I'm on my way to 100%ing the game to stream it, and I kind of agree. It's really only down to the fact that she's kind of boring, with a boring gameplay loop, and not many people want to do it when they could just play a character like the Unknown. He doesn't quite have traps, but he can still teleport around, that sort of thing, or just play any other trap character, which is more fun. I also think somewhat, and this is my opinion, that it's also down to, much like the twins, it's down to the design. While it's just not anything special, it doesn't have a lot of potential. It's kind of really boring and dull. And I think a lot of people just enjoy playing a flashier, better looking character, like also one with better cosmetics, like the Trickster has a 2.2% pick rate. He has a great design and even has a really good reskin. The Hag just doesn't have much. Now, the next one on the list, I'm putting it on there, but it's mainly just because the license is gone, and it's the Cenobite. Obviously, there's no more Hellraiser license that's available. It ran out, unfortunately. That would be the main reason why the pick rate is so low at a 0.83. Also, the fact that the pin attack and knowing specific mechanics with him was quite difficult, but I think the main reason just comes down to the fact that he's not in the game anymore. People can't buy him, and if they didn't buy him, when he came out the first time, they're not really going to go and buy like a $200 account just to play the Cenobite. So the next on the list was personally surprising to me because I see her quite a lot, and it's the Krause. Now, to be fair, her pick rate isn't excessively low. It's at a 0.93, which is wildly better than the Twins and Skull Merchant, but it's still relatively low. And I think it mainly just comes down to the fact that she's newer, and people just don't really want to learn her. I mean, there's not much to learn with her, you spit on them and then you use your lunge attack. I think a lot of people thought she was really OP, and then she kind of just dwindled out. People found her not very fun, got bored of her gameplay loop, and then they just don't really want to try her. And again, I think a lot of people aren't a fan of the design. I think it's quite a unique, quite a really different and well done design. I think a lot of people are kind of icked out by it and just aren't a fan. I know when I first started playing the game, I thought it was a bit of an interesting, icky, yucky, ill design, but it's grown on me, and I think it's quite the lore behind it. The lore behind it. I'll do a lore video. It's very, very cool. Because of the post-launch nerfs she got quite early on, a lot of people felt like her gameplay just got quite clunky and not as fluid as it used to be. And the skill ceiling on her is quite low. And one of the funnier and sadder reasons her win rate plummeted after her nerf was because people couldn't get their lovely little free wins on her because she was strong and new. If you're going to play a character, play it because you enjoy it, not because you get the wins. Like, come on. Now, the only other killer with a pick rate below 1%, and the last one on my list, except for, I'll just mention the one above, is Houndmaster. And I think it's a similar issue to the Twins, where because it's got a pet mechanic, with the dog, there's a lot of bugs that arise and a lot of issues that can happen, and people kind of just don't want to deal with it because they just get really annoyed when it happens. I've versed 2 or 3 Houndmasters recently, and the amount of times a dog is just meant to hit me and just doesn't, and I'm happy about it because I'm not getting hit, but I can't imagine it's very fun. Her pick rate is sitting at a 0.96, and like I said before, a lot of it comes down to just the dog having really, really bad AI, inconsistent targeting, feeling really clunky, much like Victor does with the twins, and people also don't love how the gameplay loop feels. A lot of the killers with the lower pick rate, people just aren't a fan of how it feels to play them, the gameplay loop. They just don't enjoy it. And a lot of people also don't like her design. You know, they wish there were more cosmetics, better cosmetics, all of that. It's quite a common issue with a lot of these characters. I am personally a fan of her design. I really like the skin with the really aggressive poodle, because I got 2 poodles myself. I just find it really funny, but I'm a fan of her design. But again, every character, they can always have better or more cosmetics, but you know, instead of giving Fang Ming or Sable Ward the 800th uniform, you know, give a couple of the less picked characters a bit of love. Now, the last killer I'm going to mention, they're sitting at a 1.05, which is the Demogorgon, which is kind of surprising to me, especially for 2 reasons, because it's quite a simple character to play, and Stranger Things is hugely popular, so you'd think a lot of people would actually get on just to play the Demogorgon, but sitting at a 1.05, it's not very high, and I think a good chunk of it comes down to the lack of cosmetics. People really like when they can, you know, slay out their killer, and Demo has none, but it was kind of a surprise to me. Anyway, thought I'd just mention it. Anyway, that's all for the video. If you've made it this far, I love you. You're amazing. Please like, subscribe, share the video if you want to. And let me know in the comments what you thought and what you want me to do next. Alright, cheers.